The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Severe tropical storm Julina slightly weakens as it nears the Lobo-San Juan area in Batangas. To give us the latest on the weather, we have forecaster Joey Figuracion joining us live from Pag-asa. Good morning, Joey. Let's talk about Julina first. Has STS Julina made landfall again this morning?
Yes, Charles, good morning. Yes, that's right. Julina has made 8 landfalls, and the recent was over San Juan, Batangas at 9 this morning.
Joey, could you tell us where Julina is currently headed?
Yes, Julina is heading or crossing the southwestern side of Calabarzon. It's still at tropical storm category, our third category of tropical cyclone, with maximum sustained winds of 95 kilometers per hour near the center and gusts reaching up to 115 kilometers per hour. It still remains at its course west-northwestward at a speed of 15 kilometers per hour. Tropical cyclone wind signal number 2 is still hoisted over Metro Manila, Calabarzon, northern part of Mimaropa, southern and western part of central Luzon. Expect damaging rains from Julina may cause damage to structure, especially those made of light materials. Charles.
Right. Joey, are you expecting Julina to make landfall again somewhere else today?
Since it may exceed the Calabarzon landmass, it is expected to make another landfall in central Luzon, landmass of central Luzon. That may be in Bataan in the coming days or tomorrow.
Right, we are experiencing some rainy weather here at the south. Are you expecting Julina to maybe further weaken in the next few hours? And when are you expecting Julina to exit the PAR?
Yes, it's now interacting the landmass of southern Luzon, meaning it may weaken into a tropical storm category in the coming hours, but it may emerge upon emerging in the West Philippine Sea by Thursday. It is expected to re-intensify into a severe tropical storm category, and by that time it will also exceed our area of responsibility, particularly on Friday morning. Charles?
Joey, let's talk about the other disturbance that you guys are monitoring right now. What is the latest on Typhoon Kiko?
Yes, we are currently monitoring Kiko, our 11th tropical cyclone this year. It is approaching east of northern Luzon, although it is over West Philippine, rather in Philippine Sea, and it's now in typhoon category with maximum sustained winds of 150 kilometers per hour and a gustiness of up to 185 kilometers per hour. Kiko is now moving westward at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. Charles, hoisting of initial tropical cyclone wind signals because of this system is possible tonight or tomorrow morning.
Right, thank you for those updates. That was Pag-asa weather forecaster Joey Figuracion. President Duterte has apologized for the killing of Chinese drug suspects in separate operations in Zambales and Bataan. But he stressed Philippine law should be followed. In his pre-recorded talk to the people that aired this morning, the president again expressed hatred for the drug trade in the country. He said that although he promised to eradicate drugs in his first 6 months as president, he wasn't able to do so, as some members of the country's security forces are also allegedly involved. In what could be the biggest drug bust this year, authorities were able to seize 3.4 billion pesos worth of meth for shabu, while 4 Chinese nationals were killed. 3 other Chinese suspects were arrested in a similar operation in Bataan, where 544 million pesos worth of shabu was seized. Duterte did not directly address China, and he apologized for the suspects' deaths, but he stressed Philippine law should be followed. He also said that if Filipinos were to get caught in other countries over involvement in drugs, he would not interfere.
I'm sorry for the loss of lives. Hindi mo natin ginusto yan. But I just hope that the countries from where these guys come from should understand that we have laws to follow. At tayo naman, kayong mga Pilipino, sabihin ko sa inyo, pag nasabit kayo sa droga, sa labas, hindi ako makialam. Hindi talaga ako even in face yung sabihin na i-execute na, hindi ako.
The Senate has ordered the arrest of former presidential economic advisor Michael Yang, 5 officials of Pharmaly Pharmaceutical. That's after they skipped the Blue Ribbon Panel's investigation. Pamela Vasquez has the details.
For failing to appear before the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, warrants of arrest have been issued for the following Pharmaly executives: Michael Yang, who is the former economic advisor of President Duterte; Mohit Dargani, who supposedly left the country in August; Twinkle Dargani, Justin Garado, Lincoln Ong, and Crizel Grace Mago. At the hearing, Director General Rodolfo Kimbo narrated how they went to his registered address in Forbes Park, but the driver who worked there claimed Yang did not live there. But senators had copy of the lease, which identified Yang as the main tenant. The lease was due to expire next year, and rent was millions of pesos a year.
500,000 a month, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. About 500,000 a month. Or
In other words, about 6 million a year.
yes, Your Honor.
Meanwhile, Pharmaly Chairman and President Huang Chu-yen finally appeared before the committee. Huang, who lives in Singapore, said that he has been estranged from his father Huang Wenli since last year. Huang Wenli, also known as Tony Huang, is wanted in Taiwan for fraud and embezzlement. The younger Huang is allegedly wanted for stock manipulation, but he claimed that he has never served an arrest warrant by Taiwanese authorities and only found about it online.
I've contacted the authorities with understanding with this since June. I've not received a reply as of today.
During the hearing, senators also zeroed in on the purchase of millions of face shields from Pharmaly at 127 pesos per piece. Lawmakers questioned Health Secretary Francisco Duque III over why the DOH bought medical supplies from PSDBM when it already transferred 42 billion pesos for just that purpose.
Di ba double payment yan? Nag-advance ka, tinransfer mo yung pera, tapos bibili ka uli, sarili mong pera ginamit.
Yeah.
It's a case of double payment.
Paliwanag po yan, sir. And not only that, may commission na 4%.
In total, Pharmaly bagged more than 8.7 billion pesos in contracts from the government, even though it had capital of less than 1 million and was incorporated only in 2019. The Senate hearing on this continues on Friday, September 10. I'm Pamela Vasquez and we are One News.
The outlook for the country's economy is becoming more gloomy as prices start rising again and more Filipinos lose hope in finding jobs during the pandemic. One News' business editor, Regina Lay, gives us the details.
The Philippine Statistics Authority released 2 sets of worrisome data today. The first showed inflation in August jumped to 4.9%. That's the highest in nearly 3 years. The jump was mainly caused by higher prices for food and non-alcoholic beverages, especially of vegetables, fish, and meat. Nearly all regions in the country experienced higher inflation. The PSA said the weather and ongoing lockdowns were to blame.
Una ay may mga areas na napektuhan dahil sa mga pagulan at pangalawa ang ating issued sa transportation cost at higher charges sa delivery.
And that's why from September onwards, the Department of Agriculture will be importing some 60,000 metric tons of fish like galunggong, mackerel, and bonito.
We're looking at bringing down prices to below 200. It's now hovering at 240 for local galunggong and Indian mackerel alumahan for 240. We'd like to see at least 120, 150, 180 below that because they'll be bringing in the imported fish at 88 wholesale prices, at least 88 or 90 pesos.
Meanwhile, the second piece of data showed that the underemployment rate is at the highest since the pandemic began. Underemployment is when you already have a job, but you're still looking to add working hours or find a more high-skilled job to make ends meet. According to the PSA's labor force survey, almost 9 million people were considered underemployed in July. What the survey also showed is that after more than a year and a half of various lockdowns, many have given up looking for work altogether. This is measured through what's known as the labor force participation rate. Those surveyed say they just could not find good jobs.
So mayroon talaga nagsabi na pagod sila, wala silang feeling nila, wala nang work na available.
To summarize, what the latest data show us is food prices are rising just as more Filipinos have given up looking for work altogether. Regina Lay, One News.
The government's deferment of the GCQ implementation in the metro effectively suspends the easing on rules, physical religious gatherings, much to the dismay of devotees and church officials. That's because the move fell on a very important day for the Catholic faithful, the birthday of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Justine Punsalang with a story.
No amount of rain can stop devotees from practicing their faith, especially on the Blessed Virgin Mary's birthday. Only 2 masses were held this morning at the Baclaran Church, but because of the no physical masses rule under the extended MECQ in Metro Manila, the gates remained closed during the mass. So despite the heavy downpour, devotees crowded outside the church. Gemma Fidelis, who came all the way from Laguna, said that even with the quarantine restrictions, she and her family would always visit Baclaran Church on Wednesdays. Nevertheless, she said she understands why no physical masses is being implemented.
Hindi naman siya sa hassle kasi pwede naman sa bahay, naka-live stream naman po. Every Wednesday kasi kami pumupunta dito ng family ko po.
However, the senior citizen couple from Taguig was not aware that instead of the earlier announced GCQ, Metro Manila was placed under the stricter MECQ at the last minute. For them, going to church on the Blessed Virgin Mary's birthday is tradition.
Hindi namin pas ngayon ang simbahan. Hindi naman kami na-update na yun. Pero okay lang, at least nakarating kami dito. Kasi kapistahan ng mahal na Birhen, birthday niya, kaya ano mo naman ang mga Katoliko.
Following the national government's announcement of retaining NCR under MECQ last night, many churches that prepared to open their doors for devotees today have expressed frustration on their official social media advisories on the deferred GCQ implementation. For News 5, Justine Punsalang. We are One News.
Here's a quick look at some of today's headlines. Metro Manila stays under Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine, or MECQ, as the government defers the implementation of granular lockdowns. Fully vaccinated individuals can now get their digital vaccination certificates from VaxCert-PH. And Heart Evangelista gets cornered by Hollywood online tabloid TMZ. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 12 noon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.